Thanks for staying with us today, everybody. Sean Woodland with three-time Affiliate Cup champion Adrian Conway, and we have Kiki Dixon down on the field. Laura Horvath, Danielle Brandon, Cara Saunders, the first three athletes in that final heat, joined by Alexis Raptis. And the final athlete in will be Ellie Turner.
Wow.
And this is big for Laura Horvath.
Yes, it is. Danielle Brandon, the only one left, closest points to her.
Danielle Brandon came in sixth place overall, 65 points back of Laura Horvath. Alexis Raptis with a smart appeal in round two to get herself into round three. Now here she is in round four. Top two will face off for the win out of this heat. Laura Horvath so far has had the fastest time that we have seen in this event. It's presented by Beyond the Whiteboard, and it starts with that one legless rope climb, but it's been the overhead squats and the cyclone bag. That's been the difference here.
Yes, that is the separator in this workout. We've seen some lead changes happen off the legless rope climb, but after that, once athletes tend to get off through those 10 overhead squats, that is a big separator.
Laura Horvath is in the middle of the screen. Again, the fastest time that we've seen so far, she was able to shave more than a second off her time from round two. Trying to get her fourth straight event win here.
That's probably the most pressure that she feels. Can she execute and get number 4 in a row?
Well, as we mentioned earlier, those parallel deficit handstand push-ups are looming. So Horvath trying to pile up some points here as Alexis Raptis came into this event in 11th place overall. She's looking to move inside the top 10, and there is Ellie Turner in 7th place overall. She could find a way to punch into the top 5 here after this event.
Now we're waiting to see who has it to be top 2 in this heat.
Raptis, Brandon, Horvath, Saunders, and Turner. Last heat was a battle between Brandon and Horvath, and it's looking like that's going to happen again. Brandon and Horvath make the touch at the same time on the legless rope climb, and they advance to the barbell ahead of Raptis, Saunders, and Turner.
Almost synchro in the overhead squats here, rep for rep. It's going to come down to that bag.
Brandon a little faster than Horvath right now. Final rep for both, and once again to the sandbag at the same time. Here comes Cara Saunders right behind him. Brandon is off first this time. Horvath trying to gain some ground, and Horvath is going to dive. I don't know if she made it, but Laura Horvath decides to just go full send across the finish line there, and it may have paid off, and right now, looking like it did. But those are your top two, Laura Horvath and Danielle Brandon. Horvath, again, the fastest time, this time by 0.3 of a second. Cara Saunders is going to finish third in the event. That is Saunders' second best finish of the competition. She took a second in event 2. Ellie Turner's going to take 4th, and Raptis will take 5th. Now the question is, who takes the 100 points between Laura Horvath and Danielle Brandon? And what a race between the two of them. Take one more look at it. And this time, it was Danielle Brandon who was faster on the overhead squats.
It was, and she had her literally by a fraction of a rep as we closed in on reps 7, 8, 9, and 10. And as they pin this barbell down, you're going to notice it takes skill for them to get over that bar quick. And then, of course, you got to risk it for the biscuit. Laura knows that. She committed to winning that particular heat and dove just at the right time.
The top two moving on, and really Horvath had to worry about Cara Saunders, but good on her for selling out there. We'll see if she has anything left in the tank to maybe pull off another win over Danielle Brandon. She's got her the last 2 heats, but Brandon closed the gap there. 0.3 of a second separating the two of them.
And hey, this event is called The Duel, and that's what we're about to see. We get to see a showdown between the two ladies who resulted in the fastest times, but also did it in the most exciting fashion.
Risky and bold strategy to take a diving header holding a 150-pound sandbag, but Laura Horvath does it, and it pays off.
They perhaps took that motivation that they watched over in right field from the children rolling aimlessly in the grass and realized they let the creative juices flow and say, that could be my answer to the problem. How can I get top 2? Be like that.
Horvath and Brandon will square off. The winner taking the event win and adding 100 points to her total. Horvath and Brandon have gone head-to-head in the last 2 rounds, with Horvath winning both times. But again, Brandon really closed the gap in that last round, just 0.3 of a second separating the two of them, as it's winner take all next.
Winner take all, and you got to wonder, does this work accumulation affect them differently than it does the other athletes? You're always going to choose to be one of the last standing. You're always going to want to put on the show. You're always going to want to fight and scrap for every point that's available. But these overhead squats, these 50 extra overhead squats that they're doing over the field, does that create a bit more fatigue?
Here's another look at how close the finish was between Horvath and Brandon, as the two of them got to the bag at the same time. And then Danielle Brandon just took off, but Laura Horvath with the dive and just planted her head just right into the field. I'm surprised she doesn't have a big white paint mark on her forehead after that.
You love to see it. Commitment to excellence, folks. Just win at whatever cost.
Danielle Brandon and Laura Horvath able to talk it over now, but pretty soon things are about to get serious.
Yep.
As they're being called back out onto the field for the final round here of the Duel 2. 6th of 10 events that the athletes will face here at the 2022 Rogue Invitational. We have the Texas log awaiting this evening,
which I absolutely cannot wait to see, by the way.
Going to be fun to watch. Laura Horvath trying to bring home again her 4th straight event win here. Coming off a 3rd place finish at the CrossFit Games in August, the 2nd straight year in which she has finished on the podium in Madison. Danielle Brandon got off to a great start in the competition. Won the opening event, then took a 9th place in event 2, and then really had a hiccup in back attack where she took 19th because of a missed rep. She had to reload the barbell onto the rack and really took her out of contention. But since then, back inside the top 10, a 7th and a 3rd, and now at least a 2nd place finish here in the Duel 2.
Yeah, and this is where psychology plays a bit of a game here on athletes. Are you content with being one of the last 2? Or do you really want that 100 points? And it's going to take focus, and it's going to take a lot of tenacity here. But just like we saw from both these ladies in the last heat, they're not going to leave anything out on that field through this event.
Last 2 heats, Laura Horvath has gotten the best of Danielle Brandon. Will the 3rd time be the charm for Brandon here as she looks to bring home her 2nd event win of the competition? Horvath going for her 4th win of the competition and her 4th straight. Here we go, winner take all, 100 points on the line. Danielle Brandon looks like she has a slight lead over Laura Horvath on this legless rope climb, making the touch ahead of Horvath and Brandon. To the barbell first, and she gets a rep in, just ahead of Laura Horvath, the same scenario that we saw in the last heat.
Yeah, right now working with a full rep ahead this time.
Brandon, final rep for her. Barbell is down, barbell down for Horvath, and it's going to come down again to the bag. Horvath has it.
Wow.
She is ahead of Brandon right now, and Laura Horvath make it 4 in a row.
Yeah, give her those fireworks. What a show, and what a come from behind victory that she just executed. That's amazing focus.
Fourth straight event win for Laura Horvath, and she is going to have a stranglehold on the top spot in the overall standings with 4 events remaining.
What a feeling she's got to experience right there. Fruits of hard labor.
Danielle Brandon looked like she might have had it as she once again got to the barbell first. But Laura Horvath on the overhead squats, her pace was just slightly faster. And as she did in the last round, was able to have a very good pace on the cyclone bag and gets across the finish line. One more look at how it went down. Horvath and Brandon head-to-head for the win.
Head-to-head, Danielle had the slight lead right out of the gate and into the rope. Even in the overhead squats, she was a rep ahead of Laura. But as these ladies started to wrap up the overhead squats, it was Laura who was first to the bag and take a few steps, and it gained her that victory, which is 4 in a row.
Overall standings, Laura Horvath now a 60-point lead over Annie Thorisdottir, continuing to climb and now inside the top 2. Gabby McGee